Bull, our first topic. Deshaun Watson got voted a captain. Nick Chubb didn't. What do we feel?
Yeah, I don't think this is a big deal at all. I mean, I don't know. I can't. It's important for the quarterback to be the captain of the team. I don't know how Nick Chubb feels. If he's offended in any way that he didn't get picked to be a captain. He's obviously not a vocal guy. And I think you knew that Deshaun Watson was going to be a captain this year. I don't think anything negative of it. I guess if I knew for a fact that Nick Chubb was angry about it, then maybe I'd feel differently. But I would be surprised if that were the case. Mike?
Can we split this into two conversations real quick? And not for clips. This is one clip,
Yeah.
but just let's do the Watson side and then let's get to the Chubb side. But let's start with Watson real quick.
Yeah.
If you look at the best teams in football, there is an undisputed leader on each of those teams. Chiefs, Mahomes.
Right.
Bills, Allen. Ravens, Lamar. Chargers, Herbert. Eagles, Hurts. The best quarterbacks are always the face of a franchise. That's not questionable.
Yeah.
For the Browns to reach that category, Deshaun Watson has to be the face of this franchise. And to start, you become a captain. He took the team to Puerto Rico. He's been the leader of all the offseason gatherings of these offensive playmakers. He is the guy that if the Browns are going to reach the heights we believe they can reach, is the guy that has to play the best on this team to allow them to compete with the Mahomes, the Burrows, the Allens, the rest of the teams with elite quarterbacks in the NFL. If the quarterback's not a captain, it's an issue.
Right.
If he is a captain, it's the standard. And now the Browns are in line with the other top teams in the NFL, which is where they need to be entering the season. He should be a captain. He was voted a captain. He deserves to be a captain. And if he wasn't, I'd be concerned. The fact that he is, good.
No doubt. If his teammates did not vote him a captain, that would be a major
It'd be a real
flag.
issue.
Well, I don't look at it as a red flag that Nick Chubb wasn't the captain. I feel like he was last year. And in a way, my guess is he was like, hey, the quarterback's got to be the captain. I'm voting for him. I bet Nick Chubb voted for him. I don't know. What do you think, G?
Before we go real quick, the other captains, just so everyone knows, in case you missed that, it's Watson, Bitonio, Myles Garrett, Charley Hughlett, and Anthony Walker. Those are the five captains.
And there'll be a sixth
and
rotating
a sixth game captain. Sorry, G. All you know.
Oh, no, you good, man.
Just want to make sure people are on the same page.
I get all kind of alerts and different things all the time. And so this alert came from, a news publication. And anytime somebody mentions the Cleveland Browns, it's set to show me the article. So This one is from Fansided by a guy named Mark Powell, and this came out yesterday. And it says in the headline, Cleveland Browns' latest Deshaun Watson decision is absolutely classless.
To make him a captain?
Yes. The Cleveland
Get the you-know-what out of here.
The Cleveland Browns elevated Deshaun Watson to team captain, which is an awful look given the history of his sexual assault allegations. He goes on to say, when they acquired Watson via the trade, the Browns made it clear that the talent far exceeded the risk that came with the allegations against him. Yes, we are a country of second chances, but Watson's financial slap on the wrist for dozens of heinous allegations doesn't really qualify as punishment. And he goes on to finish this conversation by himself, saying, teams naming their starting quarterback a captain is to be expected in modern NFL. Even in Watson's case, it doesn't make it any less disgusting, though.
Who wrote the article? What was the name of the author?
From Fansided, Mark Powell.
Let's make a pact right now as a show to never talk about anything Mark Powell writes again.
I don't even know who this guy is.
In the history of
really
his
know what
career.
Fansided is. I don't really pay much attention to it.
I just, I bring this up because, there's going to be a lot of reaching. Like, the Cleveland Browns are starting the season, and obviously Deshaun Watson was always going to be the captain. And it's almost telegraphed. It's almost already a thing written in stone that every single step that they take, like Bobby Brown, see what I did right there?
Nice.
They're going to be detractors that are saying this is the most classless thing. This is the Cleveland Browns organization. When you talk about it, and Kevin Stefanski has quotes, and he has quotes in there from Kevin Stefanski. He quotes Kevin Stefanski and saying why it is that he has done this. Deshaun is very, very natural for him to lead, Stefanski said, and I think he's comfortable leading from out front. I think he's comfortable from leading and letting his teammates get credit. That's just something he's always done in his whole life, and it's just the way he's integrated himself into the football team, and it is impressive to watch. So, obviously, Deshaun Watson is a leader, and this is a team vote. The team voted on this.
Yeah.
It's a group of his peers. So, naturally, with that being said, if your peers vote you, how is it the Cleveland Browns are in trouble with it?
I think it's just one guy.
It's
I
his
don't think
teammates.
is that much being made about it? This is just one random Joe on fan side.
It is a random Joe, but there was there's that undertow to it, right? We talked about Deshaun Watson not going to get much credit, and he's not going to be winning any awards anytime soon because there are people who believe really crazy stuff like this. Like, how is this crazy, outrageous, and heinous? Like, captains happen. There's been people who are generals, who are guys who may have sullied reputations, but they're still generals. They're still leading other people in their craft, and that happens to be on the field in football.
By the way, our executive producer just texted us and said Mark Powell is a Pittsburgh-based journalist.
Yeah. Oh, shocker. Totally be shocked.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
You know
Give
what?
me that intel.
To me, I don't care about any of that. I don't care. I don't care. Like, I'm not worried about whether or not Deshaun Watson's going to win an award. Let's play the season first, and then complain about those things if they happen. This guy's just one guy on the internet. You're never going to win with everybody. All right. Deshaun Watson. He talked about Deshaun Watson didn't face a penalty. He did. He wasn't convicted of any crimes.
And was still suspended 11 games.
He was still suspended of 11 games. He's paid his debt to the NFL if there ever was something legitimately like that. I think the story is old and tired, and
screw this guy.
Who cares? Who cares what that guy
When
says?
Deshaun
He's a
Watson
clown.
came out of Clemson, he was in the same draft class as Mahomes and Trubisky. Trubisky was the guy with the highest upside. Mahomes had the guy with the crazy arm. Watson was the intangibles guy. Go back to his days in high school.
Yeah.
State champion, 3-time captain. National championship at Clemson, 2-time captain.
Yeah.
In Houston, made the playoffs, not a ton of playoff success. 2-time captain in Houston.
Yeah.
The guy throughout his entire football career has been the catalyst to which his teammates rally around. To me, last season, he couldn't have been a captain with everything else going on. This season, it was a no-brainer. And I don't know if we'll ever get the results. Like, we could ask Mary Kay if she knows the voting structure of how the players voted.
Right.
We get the Hall of Fame votes in baseball. Guys who should be unanimous may not necessarily be unanimous. I know the one guy didn't vote for Derek Jeter because he didn't think any player should be a unanimous Hall of Famer.
Lost his vote.
I agree. So who knows if it was unanimous
Derek Jeter
or not?
should not have been the first unanimous player.
But you get my point. You get my point. In this vote, to pick by the players who should be the Browns' 5 captains this season, it should have been unanimous that Deshaun Watson was one of those 5.
Honestly, it's in a way, it's even silly that we need to have a conversation about this at all. Of course he's going to be a captain.
He's the quarterback.
He's the freaking quarterback, and that's the end of the conversation. And if you want to get up on your high horse and whine about it, then go do it. No, most people don't care what you have to say.
Do you think, real quick, do you think any team in the league, because like Brissett was a captain last year, wasn't he?
I don't remember.
No.
I don't think so.
Was he not?
No, the captains were Chubb, Myles Garrett, Bitonio.
I think Chubb and Bitonio were the offensive captains.
Yeah.
Okay, so last year may have been the weird anomaly exception.
He's not a legit starting
Of
quarterback.
the 32 teams this year,
Yeah.
how many do you think don't have their starting quarterback as a captain?
All the teams with legitimate starters,
Maybe
the guy's
rookies.
the quarterback.
Maybe
Rookies or
CJ
like the
Stroud,
journeyman
right.
So
quarterbacks.
like
Maybe
Josh Dobbs won't be a captain in
Maybe
Arizona
Baker's
this
not
year.
going to be a captain.
Sam
I don't know.
Howell might not be a captain.
Guys like that. But any
So let's-
established starter is going to be
What
a
do you,
captain.
let's say 24 to 32 of the quarterbacks,
Probably
give
somewhere
or take.
around there.
Yeah, if he's not at this stage of his career, like you said, it's an issue.
Yeah.
The fact that he is to be expected, and it's what should be the case.
And by default, Nick Chubb, his personality and demeanor doesn't jump up and scream, "I'm a captain." That's not who he is. Like, he's a very introspective guy. He leads by example more. He does not do interviews. You don't hear him saying very much. The fact that when you are the quarterback and you are in Cleveland, and I think this is huge for everybody to understand. Deshaun Watson is on face value a top 5 quarterback.
Skill set, talent wise, unquestionably.
There has never been a person with that level of talent. And with that level of talent is going to come a level of
What do you mean there's
scrutiny.
never been a person? In Cleveland, you mean?
No, there hasn't been a quarterback with that talent level in Cleveland.
In Cleveland.
Yeah. Right. I agree.
No.
Yes.
So like kind of like when you look at other places, like we haven't had that scrutiny. Like in Cincinnati, Joe Burrow takes all the questions, right? Josh Allen takes all the questions. If they got a problem with Stephon Diggs and Josh, guess what Josh Allen has to do? He has to manipulate that and work it out. So right now, you want your quarterback doing that because you don't want other people having to answer for a quarterback, and they are the most important person on the field.
Right.
On the flip side, let's talk about Nick Chubb here for a second. Nick Chubb was not voted a captain by his teammates. He was a captain last season. And I'll start real quick. I frankly don't think Nick Chubb cares about anything in this world besides rushing for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns on Sunday. Last night, Spectrum and ESPN blacked out the Utah-Florida game at kickoff. Nick Chubb doesn't care. He's thinking about scoring touchdowns. There's a hunger strike going on somewhere because they cut down a tree. Nick Chubb doesn't care. He cares about scoring touchdowns.
He cares about trees. Why would you say he wouldn't care about trees?
Because all Nick Chubb cares about is running for 120 yards, scoring touchdowns, and winning football games. He is the epitome of a pro's pro. And I frankly don't think he cares. But, do we really need a special teams captain? Like, Charley Hughlett, I understand. You can pull it up. Like, Charley Hughlett has been the longest tenured Brown. He's been here since 2014. Long snapper. Awesome. Cool. Charley Hughlett. Great. But do we really need Charley Hughlett to be a captain over Nick Chubb?
Not necessarily, but it's just showing that there's an emphasis on special teams and that you put a importance level on it by putting a captain from special teams.
What do you think?
I don't give a rat's ass, honestly, about I think the whole captain conversation is stupid. All that matters is the quarterback is the captain. I don't care if Charley Hughlett or Nick Chubb are captains. I don't think I don't really care about Charley. I mean, like Charley Hughlett. Does anybody give a crap about Charley Hughlett?
No, and to prove your point, that wasn't Charley Hughlett. I put a picture of a random Browns player from 2018. That was Kyle Carless on the screen. And YouTube didn't know. This is Charley Hughlett. No, that's Carl Carless. Let's see the real Charley Hughlett now. That's the fake Charley Hughlett. That's Charley Hughlett.
I had no idea.
And YouTube didn't even know.
Didn't even know.
So if y'all didn't know a captain of the Brown by face value, Nick Chubb should be a captain by default.
That was a good one.
You like that?
They should have made a third. Yeah, I mean, that was well done.
Thank you.
You left him hanging.
Yeah, no.
Oh, my fault. Yeah, that was a good one. That was it.
I mean, but like the reality is, who cares?
Like, dang.
I don't think Nick Chubb cares, but a long snapper as a captain, I get you have a special teams captain, I get it, but if it's let's make the special teamers happy, or if Nick Chubb, like, give it to Nick Chubb. Why not have 3 and 2 as opposed to 2-2-1?
So hold on. So we gotta get this together. So because there's another thing that happened last night with these blackouts. I didn't know that Spectrum had blacked out Utah, Florida.
I was so pissed.
But do you know?
Do you have Spectrum?
No,
I do have Spectrum.
Did you know DirecTV blacked out Minnesota versus I believe it was Iowa?
On what channel?
It was on Fox. And
they better get that straight.
Hey, hold on. And they tried to tell me with a list of things going down the list.
Yeah.
Talking about, well, it's going to affect the Bengals, the Browns, Ohio State, and it says they're working it out and trying to figure because they raised the rates and our contract was up in August, late July, and I'm like, look, bro. I'm trying to watch this Minnesota game, and that it didn't really matter. I'm like, okay, I'm going to see some Big Ten, and it was in 4K. I'm going to watch it. But I said, Browns. I said, bro, shout out to DirecTV. If y'all don't get that squared away,
I'm switching.
We switching immediately.
I got to switch to YouTube TV anyway.
The
only reason I haven't switched yet is because they don't have the Guardians games.
Yep, and that's it, or the Cavs games. And the only reason I was messing with y'all is because y'all got Bally's. So I will switch it to heartbeat.
You lost Sunday ticket. I got to get the Sunday ticket, so I got to go to YouTube.
Well, now you can't have one package and get it all. You either have Bally's or you have like you can't have both now. You have to have 2 different cable services to watch these teams in the same city. It's absurd. It's ludicrous.
Crazy.
I'm not paying all that.
Crazy. Go ahead, Anthony. Give us a read, will you?
Yeah, real quick, guys. So I put out a poll, and whenever we do a poll, it's brought to you by PCC Airfoils. Looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. In all locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions at $18 and up. Plus, get full benefit package, paid time off, and a signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. So I put a poll out there and asking if our audience cared about the Nick Chubb captain. overwhelming majority said no. However, we got a super chat from our very own Earl the Pearl asking, who would the 5 UCSS captains be out of all of us?
We can't have 5 captains. That's too many.
All right, fine. We'll go with 3.
I mean,
Because 5 is basically the whole
who should
staff.
be the captains, Mike, of the show?
I mean, do we need an offensive, a defensive, and a special teams?
I guess.
Well, I mean, the reality is if we're doing captains, like we have a big 3, the OG big 3,
Yeah.
you 2 and Jay.
Yeah.
I would say you 3. I'm assuming we can't pick, like, you mean for, like, the panelists, right? Are we going
I
production?
don't know. Earl asked
This
the
was
question.
just Earl's question. So, Earl, you can text Mike and I if you want to elaborate on the question. But somebody in chat said if it's based off of trade proposals, Earl's not making captain.
Earl's not feeling good. He's
Yeah.
still not feeling well. He's back at home. But he did say at the end of the show, if we have time, he wants to call in and go over his trade proposal from yesterday.
I mean, I don't know why he would. That was
That was
hideous.
I will make sure we have time for that because he did not tell me that.
Yeah, I
Oh
talked to him.
my
I talked to him
God.
this morning.
For those who don't know, can we put that back on the screen? Or
You have to pull it out of yesterday's rundown. But it was DPJ and a 4th for Aaron Donald. Or DPJ and a 3rd for Aaron Donald, one of the 2.
I mean, that's crazy time.
Yeah.
You're offering them essentially a 4th
Yeah, because
round
DPJ's
pick
going to walk.
because the
Yeah.
Rams would have no interest in DPJ.
But we'll get to that later.
They're
with
a
Earl.
team that's probably going to be starting over next year. If they're trading Aaron Donald, that means they're starting over. If they're starting over, why would they sign DPJ to an extension? And why would they need to trade for him to get that extension anyway? So it doesn't make any sense.
By the way, the fake Charley Hughlett I put on the screen.
Yeah.
Do you know who that was?
No
Do you have
clue.
any idea who that was, G?
no.
Kyle Callis started two games in 2018 at guard.
No idea.
I tried to find the
Didn't
most
even
random
remember
white
him.
guy I could find on the Browns.
That was what they
2018.
They won 1 game.
They had a lot of offensive line injuries that year.
Yeah, he started 2 games.
Oh my
Didn't
god.
remember.
Played
that.
in 2 games.
Just
So, guys, I have a text message here from Earl to
Okay.
update. So he wanted the entire crew, production panel, Becker, the whole everybody. He thinks Mike should be a captain 100%.
I appreciate that, Earl.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's like, I guess I just need the criteria to.
Yeah.
what is it?
I mean, Director Steve's the one that holds it all. Like, in all seriousness, Director Steve, Director Ant's coming for your chair, Steve.
Director
Director
Steve
Ant.
is like
No, I am not.
Director Steve is like the guy on the baseball team where all the players are really young,
He's David Ross on the 2016
except for
Cubs.
a couple of ornery veterans like me and Jay. And then Steve's the other older player, but he's not ornery. He's just a solid guru type of veteran
right,
that
solid
people
group.
go to.
Right.
He can get kind of ornery. I don't know, man. I'd sitting
Steve's
back
ornery?
here with him.
A little bit.
Hey, no, he said, listen, he was adamant about that Kool-Aid. He was like, no, not on my set. Bull is spilling everywhere.
Me? I don't spill things.
You did almost not water down, but
I
you
did,
bought
but
it.
I saved
He
it.
did. He did catch it yesterday.
right.
Yeah, but and then we'll take people behind the scenes a little bit. Mike and Steve got in a little, almost like a fight over the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, listen.
Me and Steve, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think you realized that Steve was very frustrated by you not wanting to leave the
I was trying to make sure
packets
nothing.
on the
I know. I was trying to make